You've probably already heard me amplifying an organization called Amplifier this year when we talked about featuring contemporary Indigenous voices in your classroom, or in the podcast where we talked about spotlighting Black artists, activists, and authors in your classroom. Amplifier.org is doing such powerful things with art, empowering things, and I love it. That's why when I saw their new interactive poster series on well-being and mental health, I just had to put a big, huge spotlight on it. Because this is a resource every teacher can use right now, and it's completely free to download. So today, we're talking with Emily Golding, Executive Director of Amplifier.org, about Amplifier's mission in the world and how it can help educators reach their students. We're talking about why Amplifier exists, how it uses art to spark conversation and provide inspiration, and how the new well-being series that Amplifier has created can make a difference in your classroom through the simple act of downloading and putting up their free poster set. Are you ready? Hey there, I'm your host, Betsy Potash, and one-pagers, project-based learning, and choice reading are my jam. I believe in you, and my goal is to help you explore all the creative possibilities you dream of for your classroom. I'm an educator, a chocolate cake aficionado, a traveler who can't wait to get back to Barcelona, and the kind of mom who brings her own mini makerspace to her kid's classroom when she comes to volunteer. I know this for sure, creativity isn't always easy. As a creative teacher, you get parent calls you treasure, and plenty of sidelong comments you'd rather forget. But here's the bottom line. Creative education can ignite a spark in your students and change their lives forever. You and I know this. You're an innovator, and while it's sometimes hard, it's so worth it. So let's explore the world of creative education together. Welcome to the Spark Creativity Teacher Podcast. Well, welcome to the show, Emily. I'm so delighted you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. This is such a treat. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. I've been a big fan of Amplifier's work for so long. I've just watched and admired, and I wanted to start by just inviting you to talk a little bit about Amplifier's mission and how it also relates to education.
Of course. Yeah, thank you. So Amplifier is a nonprofit design lab. We're a 501c3 organization, and our mission is to amplify the most important social movements of our times. So we know that that's a broad mandate. What we do is we really take conversations in the advocacy space and the social change space, and we bring them out into public settings. And so that might look like putting up images on billboards. It might look like projections on a museum. It might look like wheat pasting posters up in the street. It might look like lawn signs or posters up in windowsills. And it's really meant to foster critical thinking and compassion and conversation about some of the debates, in our society that are ongoing, but kind of thinking about things from a new perspective and really thinking about kind of the same issues in a new way. We like to, because we're a visual arts organization, we like to talk about the idea that you can't be what you can't see. And so our art is really seeing new possibilities and seeing new ways that social justice could happen, that prosperity could occur, that positivity could take root in our society, and that people can live lives of hope and joy, and have those in public space and have that be kind of the advertising, more or less, for a future that we know that we all want, right? Of a sustainable future, of a place where everyone's needs and concerns are heard and met. And so how that brings us into the education space with young people is teachers came to Amplifier after our big We the People campaign in 2017 with artists Shepard Ferry, Jessica Sabogal, and Ernesto Urena. And they said, how do we have these conversations in classrooms about these artworks that are, red, white, and blue, and obviously are calling up these very deep-seated ideas about our nation? how do I talk about that in a social studies classroom or a history classroom or a government classroom in ways that are just strictly instructional and are not partisan? And so thousands of teachers came to Amplifier and they said, how do we do this? And so Amplifier created this network that reaches around 1 million students. And shout out to any of you on the listening who are part of our network. We're so happy you're here. And we provide tools, we provide artwork and lesson plans to help teachers foster those conversations in the classroom. So similar to finding our work out in public space and having that foster questions and dialogue within the viewer. Excuse me. We want our artwork in classrooms to spark that same process within young people and think, I know that I think this about, the earth or the environment or climate change or diversity or inclusion and, I don't know, ageism, all these different challenges that we experience as a society. How can I think about it differently and see new possibilities and kind of help us all get unstuck?
Wow. Wow. I kind of wish I was looking for a job so I could apply to work at Amplifier. Honestly, like,
Thanks.
I
Thank
just
you.
love everything you're saying so much. I'm
Thank
so
you.
inspired by this work. And
Thank you.
um, particularly, I'm grateful for the fact that you're taking that extra step beyond, sharing the art, sharing the inspiring imagery that amplifies the social movements to actually help us in the field of education, to put it out there, because that is the big kick that I hear whenever I share amplifier images and say, sign up for the Educator Network, download these for your classroom. You're going to love everything you find in Amplifier. I do hear from teachers who struggle with the fact that they will be questioned. Why do you have this on your wall?
Yeah.
Isn't this you making a political statement to our students? And so I
Yeah.
just want to like go a little bit further with you to
Yeah.
comfort teachers listening that they can put up these visuals that are so inspiring without sort of saying, I am this and you should be
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for asking that. Let's see. I mean, at Amplifier, we really take the stance of saying, all art is meant to just spark conversation, and and art is, it's an abstract concept, right? It's it's a metaphor, um, and so when we have our work on the walls, we really do mean that we intend it to foster critical thinking and compassion and conversation. And so, given our political context, in terms, especially where many teachers in different states stand right now, we
Right.
understand that it would be challenging to put up, um, I don't know, posters around different issues that are kind of red hot. But the way we think about it is that the artwork is not red hot. The political context in which it is seen is. So,
Mm.
from our perspective, to put up artwork about Black and Brown students seeing themselves in the curriculum, on our level, that's just a justice issue. That's
Yeah.
just a kind of a human rights issue of 50% of American young people are either fully or partially of color and have diverse heritages, and that is across every region of the country. It's obviously concentrated in certain regions, but really a lot of that growth is in the suburbs, and it's along the Rust Belt, and it's in the Sun Belt, and it's in places where the demographics are shifting, and so for students to be able to learn about their own culture that they
Yeah.
have in their own house is for us, that's just a starter line, right? That's just a fundamental,
I
I think,
know.
educational right. But
That's how I feel too.
yeah,
It's
or putting up a poster about taking care of the planet. I'm a Gen Xer. Those have been on classroom walls for 40 years. Like, that's not a
yeah.
new conversation. We want people to think about these abstract concepts, how we learn about ourselves, how we take care of the only planet we call home, um, how we identify, right? These are millennia old conversations in
Yes.
education and the humanities, right? This goes back to like Plato, right? These are so these are big ideas. They're not knee-jerk reactions. And um, so that's how we see it. This is just it's like writing something on a chalkboard. It's a starter idea, and we fully are nonpartisan. We don't have a 501(c)(4). It's not who we are. We're not a pack,
Yeah.
um, and it's just meant to spark conversation and have students feel that there's a place for everyone in the classroom, and of course that includes DEI, and of course that includes issues of reflections in the curriculum, and conversations about gender and these evolutions um, of identity conversations. But it doesn't mean what people think it means. I guess
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
my
Yeah, well, that's really helpful to hear you lay it out like that. I think that will help give people language to
thanks.
defend their choices, because I think so many people who see the images who've talked to me about it feel the same way, right? And they're anticipating um conflict that may or may not come, but to have some of that language to express their
Yeah,
intention and sort of their baseline goals and sharing these images,
thanks.
that's really helpful.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, we just see it as, really like kind of freedom of expression, for lack of a better term, and freedom of speech in the sense of, again, these are baseline concepts in today's diverse classrooms, right? 21st century
Yeah.
classrooms, and we can't just snuff out reality, and we have to talk about how we all live together, and that includes DEI, and that includes how we sustain our life on this planet, and um, you know how we all vote together. It's a real things. But I just want people to know we actually don't come from a party level political perspective. We're not pushing an answer necessarily, but we are pushing the opportunity to question
Yeah.
and explore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, one of the recent series that Amplifier has come out with is what actually instigated this interview. Although, really, I would have been happy to have it any time in the last 5 years, but
Thank you.
it was your new series on mental health for students that actually prompted me to hit reply on what I knew was a mass email and just
Aw,
cross my fingers and hope that my reply would reach somebody.
yeah,
Um, this poster series on mental health is just fantastic. It's such a fantastic resource for the classroom. It also strikes me as something that's just a very safe choice for educators. I can't
yeah,
imagine anybody questioning putting
yeah,
up these beautiful mental health posters. And
right,
so
right.
let's just put a big giant spotlight on them right now. Tell us about the mental health series.
Thank you so much. So let's see. So the well-being series was really conceptualized last year, kind of as we were emerging from the pandemic, and
Yeah.
our founder Aaron Huey, National Geographic photographer, was really kind of seeing this story emerge that people's mental health was impacting their ability to um, not just imagine a different future, but partake in civic engagement and activism in the first place, and really, um, you know, um, be calm enough in the present to imagine a better future.
Mm.
And that's spanning everywhere from the K through 5 space, definitely through adults, right?
Yeah.
And knowing that young people had experienced the negative impacts of isolation during the pandemic, not to mention like learning loss, right? All that conversation. But how do we help people feel, um, taken care of and positive and hopeful in this moment of turmoil as an activist exercise? And when I say activist, I mean activity. I mean, how do we, foster
Interactive.
Exactly. Thank you. I
Yeah.
love that. Yes, exactly. Interactive. And so it's a series of 14 artworks by artists from all over the world. And they span different topics that are relevant to the K through 12 space. And so some of it is interlinking with PBIS systems and charts. And some of it is kind of a classroom management piece. Some of it is an emotional management piece. It ranges everywhere from, how to calm your nervous system through breathing and meditation through how to notice when peers are engaging in self-harm.
Mhm.
Um, it spans a big gamut. Our partners in this were Unity for Humanity, the JED Foundation, the Ad Council Sees the Awkward, Trisha Pabu's Rethink app, and we interviewed everybody from youth themselves through mental health experts, through kind of millennial gaming experts, just as
Mhm.
philosophers.
That's amazing.
So I mean, this really big range of just saying what's kind of going on here, and we really just whittle it down to, so each of the 14 artworks, Betsy, on the flip side of a card is about 200 words of tips about that topic.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's a QR code, and it goes off, and then it kind of leapfrogs you to a much longer deep dive on a resource about that topic, like managing feelings of anxiety, like how to develop positive communications habits, with our content partners who really are the subject experts. We always amplify our partners here at Amplifier. We're not the subject experts, we're the amplifiers.
Right.
Yeah, of other people's expertise. And so, there's that content. They are sold in a pack of playing cards um, on our website, and that's at store.amplifier.org. You can pick up a box for about $25, and they're designed to be either like a game you play with friends or something you can self-guide on your own, something teachers can teach the whole classroom. They can also split the room up into, let's say, 4 groups and have the students guide themselves through the cards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then there's a poster series too, right? That are just downloadable because I've
correct.
downloaded them.
Yes, thank you. Well, thank you. Exactly. Thank you. So yes, on our website, all these 14 artworks exactly are available for free download on the well-being page or on our free downloads page.
That's
Um,
right.
yeah, thanks on amplifier.org. And like the rest of our work, we encourage people to print it out and put it up anywhere they want.
Yeah.
Whether that's in their school, in public space, in the coffee break room, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and the posters are also interactive. I mean, they have the QR
Yes,
code. I've been in through the QR code. They go to
good.
these really engaging, the ones I watched were just very student facing feeling, the kind of thing that a
Yeah,
student would enjoy watching and learning
yes.
in this very short video format, the one I'm thinking of. And I
Mhm.
just think it's so different than the kind of posters on the wall about well-being that I might have encountered when I was in high school, go
Interesting.
to stopdrugs.com and,
Oh, that's a
sign the
great point.
pledge.
That's a great
Um,
point. Yeah, the kind of dare stuff.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I have to say I'm so heartened by this generation's emphasis on really the kind of the, for lack of a better word, like the nitty-gritty or like in between the lines. Um,
Mhm.
piece of mental health. Just with the astronomical rates at which young people self-report
Mm.
mental health challenges. We know that it's not just like you're saying, like the big stuff, right? The our generation God of don't do drugs, um,
Yeah.
but really the in between of how do I interact with my peers in a healthy way? How do I talk to myself in a healthy way? How do I, make choices that, um, you know, um, lead me away from harm, right? And towards
Yeah.
positivity, just the everyday kind of life management stuff that is not taught. or is taught more than it used to be. I'm really happy to see at my son's K through 5 level how much in his classroom space, after school space is about kind of elasticity and growth mindsets and training one's brain and
Yeah.
feelings charts. I'm like, this is good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, my husband coordinates quite a lot of mindfulness
does
and
he?
well-being and positive psychology in the schools where
Beautiful.
he's worked, and so I'm
Yeah, that's
very
great.
aware of that, the ability to promote the behaviors you want instead of just
Exactly.
react to the behaviors you don't.
Yeah, yeah. Of this idea that I don't know if it was Maria Montessori or someone who said something similar. That the idea of if we could raise a generation of self-aware and peaceful children, that would be the biggest shift we could do in the world. In the sense of creating a generation that is able to monitor and manage their own behavior, and by extension, kind of have a grip on their own worth tendencies, right? Which, if you
Yeah.
extrapolate society, is actually pretty huge in terms of a peace building exercise and a reduction in violence.
Well, as we move toward wrapping up, Emily, I'm curious to know, what do you wish that every teacher out there knew about that's waiting for them over at Amplifier?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. We think about one word when we see that question, and that word is inspiration.
Hmm.
Um, we want our artwork to inspire, and again drive questions and critical thinking and a sense of expansiveness and delight, and a range of emotions. And so our artwork is, it's colorful, it's bold. We have a lot of different aesthetic styles within our portfolio. So there's kind of something for everybody. Um, we also have 643 pages of lesson plans.
Wow.
Yeah, thanks. We have 44 different lesson plans around, mostly across the liberal arts, but some around environmental studies, and even there's a couple of STEM lessons. Um, and we really just want teachers to know that there's something for everybody. There's one lesson for the K through 5 set. It's our National Geographic collaboration for the 30 by 30 campaign, um, about conserving 30% of the world's wildlife space by 2030,
Mhm.
the year 2030.
Very
Um,
cool.
Thanks. Most are for the 7 through 12 range in terms of grade level, but um, you know, it, yeah, there's even some for kind of like the freshman comp set. If there's a couple of university professors, there's pretty in-depth humanities exercises. So, there really is something for everybody, and we just want people to be inspired and just kind of see and think about different stuff.
Yeah, yeah, lovely. Well, I wonder, perhaps the answer is going to be the same now, but what do you wish every student had
Mhm.
access to that's waiting over at Amplifier?
Yeah. So I think that same feel, a sense of inspiration and expansiveness, and just this idea of kind of suspending belief that the same old doesn't necessarily need to be the same old, that we
Mhm.
can, yeah, see things in new ways. And a lot of our lesson plans are designed, they're project based, they're designed to be collaborative and done in peer groups and fun, and kind of doing learning outside the classroom walls and work out in communities, and kind of a service learning model. And so there's fun, there's inspiration, there's yeah, there's beautiful art you can put up all over your room at home, your dorm room, your rec center space, where you practice, I don't know, with your friend's band. I don't know. The work's literally meant to, it can be a screensaver. It's literally meant to just travel with you throughout your life in the world. We say that, the people who use our art are the amplifiers. Taking it out and taking these symbols and images out into the world is what moves them in space and inspires other people too. So it's for you. It's for your own inspiration. So we hope you like it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Um, as we come to a close, I just want to ask, what is the best place for teachers listening to tap into
Yeah.
all things amplifier?
Yeah, sure. So they can go to education.amplifier.org. You can sign up for our network, and then you'll get an email with the access to our lesson plan bank and all of our tree downloads. And in the future, we might make a portal connecting all of our teachers to each other. So keep an eye
Ooh,
out. Yeah, keep an eye out for that because we'd love the network to kind of be more intra-connected.
very
So
cool.
yeah, maybe some peer-to-peer learning and support. But for right now, it's definitely all of our tools are there. And you can also reach me at emily@amplifier.org.
Fantastic. Well, I'm in your educator network, and I can attest that I love opening emails from Amplifier,
Thank
and it's
you.
always something really useful, really valuable.
I'm so glad. That's the mood for a day.
Thank you so much for joining Emily and me today for this conversation about the impact of art in our world. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay creative.